Alright, so I know it's been a little while, but decided I'd go ahead and do another update for anybody who was trying to build a system and was trying to just figure out some of the general parameters that they were going to need. So I'm going to do a follow-up on how everything in the big freshwater 100 tank gallon custom setup has kind of been doing. All of the fish have been looking really good. Everything's been looking really good inside the tank. We put some new live or real driftwood inside there. There's a couple pieces that I've saved up, and also got some live plants. That was something that I wanted to do and incorporate into the refugium separated section that I have, which is talked about in some of the previous videos. So anything that's different than before, it is currently, sorry, I'm trying to find a place there isn't a huge glare, which is one of those things you're going to want to consider whenever you do a fish tank, is keeping the light off the tank and seeing where glare is going to be and all that kind of fun stuff. But I don't use any RO water at all anymore, except for just here and there I'll top off or throw in a 5-gallon bucket full, just to try and keep the pH down. I've decided that maybe I would alter that concept and go with live plants to see how that would affect the pH and keep the phosphates and stuff down. I still run a little bit of ROA phos or that GFO, high capacity BRS GFO inside a BRS reactor inside this system, but just a small amount. We're still at about a quarter cup or even less once every couple of months whenever I do the carbon switch out. The UV is still running. So what you're seeing is I found Home Depot sells a really cool screw it to the ceiling puck light that's LED. That is really simple. It's just you can see a little bit of a reflection maybe in the glass. There it is on the top there. Just a ring of about 40 1-watt or half-watt LEDs. Doesn't really get very hot to the touch. I mean, maybe 104, 110, somewhere in there is probably about what that feels like it is. I rigged it up on an extension cord with a switch, and that is a great spectrum. It's about 6500K. Perfect spectrum from doing plants. So those have been in there actually for 2 days, and you'll actually see real small pearls coming up right through here. The plants are actually pearling. Those are something that somebody cleared out of a freshwater tank to throw away, and I gathered a few of them up, de-snailed them, de-wormed them, just kind of salvaged them in the garage for a couple of months, and now I just brought them in, and I'm going to just kind of see what they're going to do. And immediately it looks like they have dropped the pH a little bit. So, and that's the CO2 in there affecting my, temporary hardness, and we'll see. But again, no RO water in this system anymore. It still does a daily water change of about 1.5 gallons to 2 gallons of just straight filtered house water. So see if there's anything else different here. I don't think so. Our reactor with the carbon, and on the top section there is your GFO. You don't want those two things to tumble against each other. They'll rub and grind. They're different textures. They'll grind against each other. That's kind of something that most people will tell you, warn you about. It's a pretty common warning. But carbon on the bottom, free tumbling, and GFO on the top, pressed, forced flow through. Some people want to force the flow through the carbon. I can do that by actually just ranking the thing open to wide open, and it'll shove it all at the top and force it through. I do that about half through its life cycle. I let it tumble like the first half and then shove it and force it through the second half. It's the high capacity carbon. That's just my theory. I don't know if it really does anything yet or not, but definitely doesn't hurt anything. So, and carbon's cheap. So sump's all the same, everything is all the same. I've brought the temperature down a little bit, holding it about 7.3 on my pH, which it was getting up into the 7.5s. And I really don't want it that high on these fish. It's a very stable system that high, but I'd like to see that pH in the 7.0 range or so. So just playing around with seeing what I can do simply to get that to happen without having to mix RO water, add any kind of buffers or anything like that, which is, like everybody says, it's pretty much futile. You really never get anywhere. You're causing more trouble than good. You're better to try and get the water right out of the wall, coming in exactly what you want, and do your water that way. So if you could ever get your Dow water coming off the wall with, maybe 90% filtered water, 10% RO, or depending on your particular numbers, and see what that levels out at with fish in it. It may hold at 7 or so. So it's up to you. So some live pieces of wood. All the fish have really grown. I'm down to just feeding every 3 days now, where I was feeding every day. So the angelfish have been doing good. No more angelfish virus. Everybody that survived it. All is well. The feather fin has grown really big. I've got a big Plecostomus somebody gave me too. I'm not sure if I'm going to put him in this system or not. But on the little sick tank, since we're not cycling any new fish in, I've just filled this thing full of ghost shrimp. There's a ton of them in there. A couple of them are carrying eggs. I don't know if they're going to breed or not. This one right here, this female right here, is actually carrying eggs. I don't know if it'll clear up or not. I'm not really sure why. It doesn't want to figure out why that Shrimp is so blurry. It's awful perfectly clear to me here, so I don't know, camera. But anyway, she's actually carrying eggs. She's got a big wad of eggs behind her there. But anyway, so I'm going to see if they're going to breed, but everything stays about normal in there. So a little bit of algae on the glass, but just haven't cleaned it. Let's see if there was anything else. LED, live plants, and refugium section. All the numbers stay really good. The hardness, temporary hardness, and permanent hardness are way up on the tank. They're, you know, where I was trying to keep them a lot lower in the beginning with the RO water, that was just too much of a pain in the butt. And the fish aren't attempting to breed yet. So, and that's because the pH is too high, and the temporary hardness is it's too hard water. But it makes it really easy. It's real stable. There's still literally, less than 10 parts per million of nitrate. So no phosphate detectable. Very little algae on the glass. Still run a 12-hour light cycle. The angelfish go through and pick a little bit of algae that grows on the plastic plants off of there. So I'm going to flip around, and like every other hobby, I mean, as fast as you kind of get going in it, you come up with, you know, some other new idea of what you're going to do, or your next, it evolves as fast as. So I've immediately kind of not paying as much attention to this tank, and I got a bunch of free saltwater tank stuff again from another client. So I'll spin around and show you. I'm just tinkering with. I tried to save the biological system in the same way that I started this tank, where I took some filter material and everything from the little tank to bring the biological system over this, and really never went through a startup cycle, no ammonia cycle or anything. It just automatically sort of started. I did the exact same thing with a saltwater tank, and I bet a lot of people say you can't do that. It's all going to be based on whether you just can't rush stuff. So over here, it's a Nuvo 16 gallon. It's got a really nice radon light on it. I've got double MP10s on it. So it's a real nice tank. The lights are just coming on. I'm sort of figuring out my light schedule, so it's probably not going to video very good, and I'm sorry for that. It just is going to be what it's going to be. But there's several corals in there I've added in. And this tank, I got it. It was somebody was giving up on the hobby. The fish company came and took all the coral rock and sand out of it, and I was there 4 hours later. There was still water in the filtration compartment, but the power was off. So I immediately brought it home and put salt water in it, filled it, and turned the filter on and just let it run. And then I went and did a serious washout on the sand that was in one of the other tanks that also had been shut down for several days. It was dead. So I flushed all that out really good, hours and hours and hours, flushed the sand in, got the sand in here, and then let that run a little bit. I went and got some cleanup crew from the store, a few cleanup crew that did survive that move, and 2 pieces of live rock from my customer saltwater tank, 2 small pieces, and this tank never cycled. Coralline algae never died, everything fine. So I just basically complete shutdown move and set back up again without really any issues. So there's 0 nitrate in this tank. I tested again yesterday. The test doesn't even move. I didn't even test phosphate. I'm sure there's none. I am feeding it twice a day, real lightly. There's 1 chromis in there, a big frog spawn, a piece of bird's nest candy cane, just your normal basic starter kind of corals. I'm going to put them in there. I'm just going to see about curing some live rock. I got some rock out in the garage. I'm going to try and pick this particular rock is from a 9-year-old tank. And like anything else, if you got a friend with a good established tank, get something from him. A piece of rock, go buy a piece of rock and give it to him for 6 months and ask for it back. And if it's established and he doesn't have worms and bad things in his tank, you know, whatever, then that's the best way, because you never know what you're going to get from a fish store. They cycle that. Somebody comes in and needs a really big tank, and they sell them everything they have, and they just put all new ones in the next day, and they tell you it's live rock, and it's not consistent. So these pieces of rock are 9 years old. They've got great growth on them. Corallines, layer after layer after layer of coralline algae on them. Tons of little feathered duster critters and stuff all over them, and they're loaded up with just all the great stuff. So a starfish, they come with tons of nudibranchs and micro and macro algae and all the pods and everything that you want, you know, even baby snails and clams, and just everything is attached to these rocks. So they're really in great shape. So that really, I mean, that's the key to a saltwater tank, is having a good biological system established and stable, and those 2 rocks brought it in. There's another piece of rock that was actually in the sump. So when I've replaced those pieces of rock in that customer's tank with new rock. So he's got new rock in there to replace the system of, you know, whatever reduced of his system, and I think I'm going to run out of time. So we'll update again later. Thanks, guys.